Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are live from the Bellagio Resort Casino in fabulous Las Vegas. Player Profiler Start Sits with Chuck Bass. I'll be your host today. I am sitting in a convention center hallway, a little bit next to the pool, just for verification. You guys know I always deliver. I was kicked out of the sports book. Had nothing to do with alcohol. It had nothing to do with betting. They wouldn't let me put my signage up. They would not let me put up Raj, the greatest commissioner in the world. They wouldn't let me put up Groot on any of the furniture, anything like that. So you know what? I said, fuck that. I'm going to the hallway. And so I'm right here right now. Strangers are looking at me. Got the NFL hat on. Let's get to some start sits. It's week one. We've been waiting all off season for this. And I see you guys already in the chat have a few for me. And Nicholas, I got you, my man, because this is one I've actually been struggling with all week. Aaron Jones or David Montgomery, full PPR. We have Aaron Jones and the Vikings taking on the Bears, and we have the Lions taking on the Packers. I actually really like David Montgomery this week. His last two opening weeks since he's been with the Lions, 17 attempts for 91 yards and a touchdown last year. The week before, 21 attempts for 74 yards and a touchdown as well. I like them to come out swinging. What do they want to do? They want to run the piss out of the ball. They want to flex on you. They want to own you. They want you to be remembering that week one game all season long. And David Montgomery is kind of the focal point of that ability. Obviously, Gibbs is going to be the big play guy, but Monty's kind of the core of the philosophy of this team. And I believe that they'll get him going. So still like Aaron Jones this year, still like him to catch passes, but give me Monty for probably 70 yards and a touchdown feels about right. Trey, I got you here. Trey, we're looking full PPR. Flex Ridley or Harvey. Trey, why are you doing this to me this morning? RJ Harvey is probably my favorite rookie running back of this entire year. He's been absolute man. I love everything about his situation. Love everything about the Broncos. They are taking on a pretty tough Titans front seven, which has had all off season to kind of plan for this game. And they do put together pretty good game plans. So in this scenario, give me Calvin Ridley. Give me the guy that Cam Ward said if he was starting a flag football team, Calvin Ridley would be his wide receiver one, and then he would do Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. So I think the Ridley connection is going to be pretty electric this year. Definitely like him to go well over 1,000 yards, and who knows? After that, it's up to them. I do just want to say before we get to any more of these guys, happy to have you here, loving you. This is what it's all about. My blood alcohol content has been just borderline inappropriately high for going on 3 days now. But all I wanted to do when I came to Vegas was sit here and do this show with you all. So I do have to agree. The fascist in the sports book, she looked at me, honestly, she looked at me like I had my dick out or something like that. Like what I was asking was the absolute craziest thing you could ever ask. I just want to put my dog in the greatest commission up. Think about how much money Roger Goodell has generated for these sports book. And they're not even going to let me come in here and hang up my shit. Weak sauce. Slashy, Merry Christmas. Good to see you, my guys. Let's get back to more of these start sits. Okay. Alejandro, we got you half PPR, Flex Golden, Adunze, Shaheed. Well, you're clearly a man of taste if you got all these three of these guys on your roster. Let's work backwards here. Shaheed, I want to see what this offense looks like under this quarterback play and with Kellen Moore kind of before I'm investing in the non-Olave, non-Kamara side of it, although I do like what he can be season long if it does gel. Adunze, I want to wait and see as well. The more this offseason has gone by, the less good I felt about what this Bears is going to look like in 2025. Might be a 2026 team. And that gives us to Matthew Golden, my guy, the separator, the ball winner. The guy catch the Jordan Love finally has his wide receiver one. Jaden Reed can sit back, catch a couple targets a game, take an end around, and let Golden just absolutely crush. So give me Golden here. I like them to come out swinging as well. I think that's going to be a fun, high-scoring game. If I'm not mistaken, is that going to be the highest? Is it the highest over of the week? Let's find it here. Packers and Lions is going to be 47.5. You'd think it'd be a little bit higher just because these are probably two of the 5 to 6 best offenses in the league. But hey, you know what? Vegas knows stuff. Well, everybody but the sports book hostess, that whore, that slut. Okay, let's get back to another one here. Russell, 0.5 PPR. Tony Pollard or Harvey as RB2. Starting Chase as the RB1. Well, you know you're going to get probably a RB1.5 points out of Brown for this week. So I'm guessing here we've got Harvey. So they're going to be in the same game here. That's going to be in Denver. You know what? I still like Tony Pollard here. I can't believe I'm taking 2 Titans over 2 Broncos today. But you know what? I could see just as much. You know, we've been playing the Sean Payton running back game for a long time. They signed J.K. Dobbins, who I don't think is going to be a threat to Harvey long term. But you guys have, seen these week 1 rollouts, and every time it's just like, what are they doing? And in the first 3 weeks of the season, if Dobbins had, I don't know, 50 combined attempts, I would not be surprised. They want somebody in there that can kind of, be the Batman to Harvey's eventual Robin. So I'll take Pollard, who is the dude there. Spears is on IR. They've got a rookie running back going into Denver and probably playing the toughest defense in the league. So I like them to lean on the run pretty heavily there. Dr. Brett Burner. Look at that beautiful picture right there. Full PPR flex. Swift, Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones. This is an absolute nightmare scenario, Brett. So let's go ahead and get Swift out of there. I once again have no idea what Ben Johnson is going to do with this running back room. I don't know how involved Roshan's going to be, Manungai, all this, that, and the other. I do like Swift as, potentially maybe your last flex long term if this thing rights the ship. But that brings us to Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones. I'm probably going to go full PPR here with Devontae Adams. I don't know how long this Matthew Stafford experiment is going to work out this year with a back injury, but I do know he's going to play. And while he's playing, I love this offense. I love the points. I like Aaron Jones too as well. But my thing with Aaron Jones is, on top of how good of a player I believe he is, I just think that Jordan Mason is definitely going to be that 1B, maybe even the 1A. I just think he's such a talented running back and he fits the scheme so well. And on my show with Evan Ringler this week, Evan talked about some of the lessening metrics for Jones from last year. Even though he had a nice full season, he had some nice games, but his overall athletic metrics and measurements, they started to taper off a little bit. So when that's the case, I like to catch guys who are coming on who aren't coming on the slide here. Michael Rasmussen, ETN, or Trey Henderson PPR. So I guess the way to look at this is, depending on where you drafted him, Michael, your 3rd or 4th round pick versus your 9th or your 10th round pick. You drafted Henderson. You probably reached on him, even though it's going to turn out to be a great pick. I'm going with that guy week 1. I think the Patriots are going to eat the Raiders' lunch. That front 7, especially with Christian Watkins gone, who's out there kissing someone's forehead right now, which there's nothing wrong with that, of course. But they have a huge hole in there, and I think Henderson's going to be the guy to fill it. The rookie running backs are going to be interesting. Omarion Hampton didn't necessarily instill confidence in what I think is going to go on for a lot of these guys, but not necessarily his fault. He went up against one of the premier run defenses in the league, and he did it in Brazil. So God bless him. God bless America. David, start 2 PPR. Waddle, Ridley, Coleman. This is a drink break scenario, guys. Let's make sure we're all hydrating. It's going to be a long day. We want to make sure we're going to be ready for it. I got my coffee, my espresso. And then after this, I think we're doing tequila espresso martinis is going to be the play today. All right, David, I'm not going to let you down here. I'm not going to quit stalling. Full PPR, Waddle, Ridley, Coleman. Now, this is where I'm probably going to, what do the kids say? Like your something is showing. I have an unrelenting optimism for Jalen Waddle this year. I think that if this Miami Dolphins organization, this entire coaching staff, everybody who's involved right now, if they want to continue to stay hired for 2026, I think Jalen Waddle is going to be the key. I don't think it's going to be Tyreek Hill. I think that he's going to take a back seat here. He's probably still going to be the, I don't want to say focal point of the offense, but he'll probably still be the focal point of the defense, just because I do still think he has that, game-breaking ability. But Jalen Waddle is a 1,300-yard wide receiver, and there's not many guys that are talented enough to do that. So if this engine through Miami is going to succeed this year, I think they're going to do it through him. Plus, I think they have a pretty the week 1 Miami Dolphins stats have always been pretty nice, and I definitely like what they're going to go on there. I like the other guys too long term. I like Coleman for what he could be this year as a potential breakout. But you've got Jalen Waddle going up against one of the worst secondaries in the league in the Colts, and Colts fans are not happy to hear that. But what do you guys want? You got Daniel Jones, you got Caitlin Clark. It's okay to have a shitty secondary. So give me Waddle there, big time. Okay, Stephen S. Super deep PPR. I like that. What does that mean? I'm not familiar with what super deep PPR means. Does that mean like, is that an extra setting? Does that mean that your benches or your starting lineups are pretty long? I don't know. Give me some context there after I give you this answer here. Ollie G or Jalen Noel. I love this. I love that you have Jalen Noel on your team. I love that you're taking a slice at this potential Tank Dell role for the Texans passing offense, which I do think is going to be pretty juicy. And I don't think it's going to end up being Christian Kirk. God bless his soul. So in this scenario, give me Ollie G. I think the other crux to this Miami team succeeding this year is getting back to running the ball effectively, which is not something they were able to do very well last year. They did have injuries to the offensive line that kind of made that tough to do, but they invested in it. Those guys are going to be coming back this year. And I think that, they're just going to try and do what anyone else would do, which is recreate that magic of that 2022 team. And I'm excited. I'm excited for their opportunity to do so. I do like Noel and what he could be, but like I said, once again, he's a rookie wide receiver, and rookie wide receivers have some pretty brutal week 1s. Even the best of them, going back to last year, Marvin Harrison Jr., he had less than a point. Roma Dunze, he had 1 point. Who else had we? Neighbors, I think he had 9 points. And it was actually the guys drafted later in the first round that did well. Brian Thomas Jr. had a nice week 1. Xavier Worthy had a nice week 1. Ladd McConkey had a nice week 1. But for the most part, these guys don't necessarily come out of the gate swinging. And this is the guy that I'm not even sure how much snap share he's going to be getting in this offense. So let's go with Ollie G there, and let's hope that he can kind of be I don't know, Raheem Mostert, but with a less Make America Made Again wife. All right, Swim. Good to see you, buddy. Hell yeah. Happy to be here for you guys. Anyone who's still joining the channel right now, I do want to give you another glimpse into what I'm looking at right now. Let's peek around here. We've got the nice Bellagio hallway. We're down here by the convention center. We've got people waiting over here by the pool. It's going to go down over there. And of course, we got Raj and we got Groot in the background. And I got my Tampa Bay Bucks shirt on. And I'm rocking the NFL shield as always. Okay. Let's see here. Keep fighting the good fight. I am. I'm going to try. I'm thinking about after this, maybe popping on a new shirt and popping on a different hat and going in there and seeing what's going on. There's nobody in there. That was the other thing. You know, they have these sportsbook lounges reserved all day long, which I get for the games, but it's fucking 8 a.m. Vegas time. There ain't nobody up. You've got guys that are passed out in the hallways. You've got guys who've been playing slots since 6 a.m. There was 2 Russian guys in the bathroom while I was doing my morning thing, saying things that made me, honestly, I didn't even want to come out of the stall. I sat in there for a little bit, played my Wordle, but it's okay. They eventually left. All right, who we got here? ETN or Aaron Jones in PPR? Thanks, bro. I'm happy to absolutely lay down on the sword for you guys this week. Let's go Aaron Jones there. And that has, I do feel good that I can finally pick him in one of these. You know, this is just a scenario where do we even really want a piece of this Jacksonville Jaguars running back room? I mean, the offensive line is not very good. They just drafted a wide receiver 2nd overall. They've got a quarterback who I kind of want to see a little bit more of. I still think he can be terrific, but I don't have as much optimism for what all these new offensive coaches are bringing to their teams. We can't have the Bears and the Jaguars and the Texans just have a new offensive coordinator as well. All these teams aren't just going to be like, okay, we're good again because we got the guy. The Saints, the Raiders, the Patriots, like one of these teams that we expect to be better than they were last year is going to struggle coming out of the gate. And I think the Jaguars with that running back room could be one of those units that pays the price for that. They've got 2 or 3 guys in there with Tootin and Tank that I think can all perform at different aspects of the game. So let's go with Aaron Jones here, who I do know for sure is going to have a good role in a potentially top 10 offense overall, depending on how you feel about McCarthy. Let's get back to Russell here. Russell says Ridley or Pearsall. Let's go. This is a brutal one. Let's go Ridley here just for the target volume here. I really like Pearsall this year as well. But there's kind of been conflicting reports about how low or high his ceiling might be over this last month or so. So maybe a little bit of a wait and see approach. Kittle's in the mix. CMC's healthy. Maybe once CMC actually decides that he doesn't want to do this anymore, we can start investing a little bit more in this passing attack. But you can't go wrong with either one of those. Maybe you like white guys more than black guys. I'm not sure. I can't say. I like them all equally. So if that's the case, you do your thing. But I'm recommending professionally Calvin Ridley on this stream right here. Jelly of the month. Absolutely fantastic name. 4-point passing touchdowns. Bo Nix or Trevor Lawrence. So we've got Bo Nix taking on the Titans at home, and we've got Trevor Lawrence taking on the lowly, pathetic Panthers at home. Let's go with that. Let's, for all the poo-pooing I just did on the Jaguars' potential running back room, I love Brian Thomas Jr. I'm really coming around on what Travis Hunter could be early. I like Brenton Strange. I like Dynamic Brown as, your 3rd or 4th guy, not your fucking 2nd best player like the Commanders had last year. So taking on a pitiful secondary, Brian Thomas Jr. is going to draw any of the hard matchups so that'll open up Travis Hunter. Let's hope that they come out swinging. There's a lot of pressure on this team to perform, a lot of pressure for them to perform early on. Spread is Jaguars by 4.5 in that game, over under 46. So let's make some magic here. Bo's going to do his thing. He's going to scramble around a little bit, but I just like the weapons on this passing attack a little bit more. Alejandro, hell yeah. If you guys are out there right now, if you're looking at the screen, raise your drinks. Whether you're drinking coffee, water, coconut water, alcohol, tea. What else do people drink these days? Energy drinks. Wow, guys, the Vegas is really getting to me right now. I cannot even think of a 6th drink. If somebody wants to recommend one in the chat, that'd be fantastic. Okay, Colton Harris. Colton, I got you covered here right now, my man. Full PPR, pick 2, Brees, Adams, or DK. All right, this is where my my DK homerism is going to be popping out here. Guys, I chose the Steelers to be my AFC team this year. Every year, I know the Bucks are my baby. They're my married ride or die. But every year I pick an AFC team to root for, my work flirt, my work wife. This year we're going to the Steelers just because I want to be a part of whatever this is about to be, whether it's a train wreck or the most beautiful fucking ride in the world. I'm going to be in for it. And I look at all the wide receiver rooms in the league, and if you take out their best wide receiver, who has the single worst one? And I think it's probably the Steelers. You can make the case for some other teams as well, maybe the Jets, but goddamn, I could see DK just absolutely reeling in 135 targets this year. And slants, in routes. You know, he might not have the verticality that he had in Seattle, but dude's going to get hyper targeted. So give me him in full PPR. I think that's going to be the play. James O'Shea, I got you. We're paying for start sits today. Other programs, they're not doing start sits. They're doing fart shits. This is start sits on the Player Profiler Network with Chuck Bass live from Las Vegas, and I got you covered right now. Full PPR, Ricky Pearsall or Jamison Williams, and QB, Purdy or Mayer. Let's go with full PPR. Let's go with JMO. He just got the contract. Lions are coming out. They're taking on division rival. Everyone's saying that this Lions team is going to regress. Everyone's saying that with Ben Johnson gone, they're not going to be able to recreate the magic. I think that's absolute bullshit. They've got too many great pieces. They're bringing over another offensive coordinator from Morton from Denver, and it's just Jared Goff. You know, if this was a young team with a young quarterback potentially, but Jared Goff, he's a veteran. He's been in this league a long time. He's played with a lot of great offensive minds. And he was more or less co-coordinator with Ben Johnson last year. So I don't think they're going to skip a beat. I love him to get, you know, this could be 90 yards and 2 touchdowns. One of them a reverse, one of them, you know, just a little bomb skis. So that Packers secondary is it's young, it's inexperienced, it's not bad, but it's the kind of team that can be taken advantage of. And the Lions have just absolutely had their numbers. So give me Jamison Williams there. And then on the QB side, is that May? You've got Purdy and Mayer. If it's May, I'm going Drake May. If it's somebody else that I'm struggling with, maybe it's my newly adopted dyslexia after having fucking 10 tequila sodas at the blackjack table yesterday. It could be the case, but I am going with Drake May. If it is him against the Raiders, I think he's just gonna. I'm hoping for one of those early Josh Allen seasons out of Drake May. There's not a lot of better teams to start off with than the Vegas Raiders. Okay, Swift or Adam J. Johnson, I got you right here. Swift or Flowers in full PPR. This is a tricky one because I think Flowers is kind of the Swift of the wide receiver position, but they are taking on the Bills in Buffalo, over under 50.5. So I think Lamar opening night, he always shows up. The only weakness on this Bills defense, if you could even say there is one, is their secondary. So I do like Zay Flowers to come in. And, this is two desperate teams who cannot get off 0-1. I know they're going to be there in January, but you're jockeying for position with the Chiefs and probably the Texans all season long for that 1 seed. You can't come around. You can't start fucking around. So let's get Zay Flowers in there, especially in full PPR. Isaiah Likely's out, which, it probably helps Mark Andrews, but I actually think it helps the entire passing offense as a whole. So let's get you some Zay Flowers in there and feel good about it. Tucker Kraft. Oh, my God. Savon Lake. Tucker Kraft or Tyler Warren full PPR. This is absolutely insane. This is one of the most difficult start sits I've ever faced in my young, hot career. You've got the Colts taking on the Dolphins, and you've got, like I just said, this Green Bay matchup against the Lions is going to be a lot of fun here. But you know what? There's a lot on the line for the Colts. There's a lot of pressure on the head coach. There's a lot of pressure on the quarterback. And I think Tyler Warren is a supremely talented player. So while I like Tucker Kraft a lot, he's one of my most drafted tight ends this year in full PPR, and this week specifically, let's go with Tyler Warren here, and let's hope that he has one of those, just like, you see the game plan, you see the way they scheme it up for him, and you go, okay, I made the right pick here. I already know we have that with Kraft. So some people might say, well, why would you not want to take a wait and see approach? I just think the ceiling's higher for Warren there in full PPR. So let's get on the Trey here. PPR, Jennings or Downs? God damn, you guys really love the Colts today. And I love Josh Downs too. He's one of my highest exposure players this year. And if there was a quarterback for him, it would be Daniel Jones. So if at some point they do decide to switch to Anthony Richardson and we have to, abandon ship, maybe we want to get a little bit of that in here. I don't love Jennings as much as a lot of other analysts do. I think he's a fine player, but I just think he's another one of those Kendrick Bourne types where he's going to be on the field a lot, but the work that he does doesn't necessarily command targets, especially with a healthy Kittle, healthy Pearsall, healthy CMC, a CMC who's playing and not, fucking me in the ass like he did last year. So let's go with Downs here again and just, hope that, the vision for him was that he could be a supercharged Wan'Dale Robinson, which is like the funniest thing you could ever want to be. But the guy Wan'Dale Robinson had fucking unbelievable target share last year. So let's bring back a little bit of that magic. Ruckus, what's going on? What up, player profiler dogs? Half PPR, Travis Etienne, Dobbins. All right, this is where analysts make their money, right? Because you guys aren't coming on here asking me like Jamar Gibbs or fucking like Alvin Kamara or anything like that. You want to know, do I want my round 10 running back to start or my round 12 running back to start? And the matchup's pretty damn good for ETN in a whole, that Carolina Panthers rush defense was historically bad last year. Not just the worst in the league, but one of the worst we've ever seen. Now they do get Derek Brown back, but overall the talent level is pretty weak. And you got Dobbins, who's, his matchup is not as great. His backfield competition is significantly, I think, more impactful with RJ Harvey, but it is Sean Payton. He does want to kind of do his Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara thing. And you guys say that's lazy, but that's what he tried to do his entire career. And it's what he tried to do last year. He just didn't have the pieces to do it. So let's take Dobbins here. I do think that Jacksonville offense is going to run through the passing game. I think the Broncos offense is going to run through the run game. So if Dobbins has 40 yards and a touchdown, I'm probably taking that over, 30 yards for ETN and a few passes. They're probably going to be pretty close in scoring, but I'll take the great offensive line if that's the case here. So who we got? Bill Bando TV. Jaguars D versus Carolina or Bengals D versus Cleveland. Man, this is brutal. This is take a drink brutal right here, guys. I'd probably reference you to my boy Pete Nova on this. Go check out his DST rankings after this and see where he's got lined up. But then in this one in particular, I'm probably taking the Bengals D. I don't expect either one of these Carolina or Cleveland offenses to do too much. But as far as sack potential, turnover potential, the Bengals have significantly higher chance of that versus, the Carolina Panthers are going to they're just going to run the shit out of the ball. They're going to try and set up play action for Bryce Young. They're going to try and scheme up targets for Tet all day long. I like their ability to do that much more than whatever the hell Cleveland's trying to roll out in year 8 or 9 of this experiment. So let's go with the turnover potential there. I don't think you're going to get burned either way offensively. I wouldn't worry about Flacco, anything like that. Okay, Cody S. Tet, DK, or Pollard, half PPR. Damn, that's another fun one too. Let's see. We've got Tet taking on the Jaguars. We've got DK taking on the Jets, and then we've got Pollard taking on the Broncos. So I'm probably not doing Pollard just because I think his floor is higher than the other two, but I think his ceiling is lower. So let's go with Tet here. I love DK, like I just talked about a few minutes ago, but Tet's just going to be an absolute beast on this Carolina passing attack. Coker's on IR. He's really. They've been looking for a Mike Evans on this team for God knows how long, and I do think they got him. I thought he looked great in the preseason. I thought some of the concerns about whether it was separating or, focused hands or anything like that. Nope, he's going to be a beast. So let's go Tet early and often week 1. They invested the draft capital in him. So did you. I don't think you can go wrong here, but I like that matchup a lot more than, what DK could actually be and end up against the Jets with Sauce Gardner and all that jazz. So Stephen S., he's got another one for me. Okay, 4 flexes and 2 E's. So let's go back to that, and that does confirm, I believe, what I said here. You were looking at, you said super deep, right? Where did I see that shit? Dead air. Yeah. So I stick with what I said there. All right. Is that Bo? Tough loss yesterday, Sam Lou. Bo, you got to get the fuck out of here, my guy. I love you. I miss Bo. I haven't seen Bo in a long time. I was hoping that I would have seen him at the Fantasy Football Expo, and yet my heart was broken again. Bo was one of the first people I ever did a live draft with, at least a stranger, and I ended up dominating, like I have risen up the ranks of all these fantasy football and those content creator leagues, all that shit. That's why they don't invite me to their leagues anymore, because I take their lunch money. Dylan Sims, should Tet be forced into the lineup over Waddle, Olave, Zay, Flowers? Now, that's a tricky one. Should he be forced? No, he probably should be starting ahead of those guys already. Just because we're looking at, target volume, target consolidation, matchup, everything like that. I do have a lot of exposure to Waddle and Olave, not so much Zay this year in particular, just because I found myself diving into Mark Andrews and Bateman's ADPs. I thought were a snack this year. So I'm taking Tet over those guys, particularly this week. But I absolutely can see a scenario over the course of the season where Waddle and Olave are punching for that low-end wide receiver 1 that title. I think Olave could be incredible if this passing offense can even be decent. Only played 1 game with Spencer Rattler last year, and he had 14 targets. Now on his 15th target, his brain turned to mush. So that's always a concern with Rattler and with Olave. But hey, I'm an optimistic guy. Tet or Pollard half PPR. Let's start getting into floor ceiling here, guys. Tet for ceiling, Pollard for floor. I like Pollard's volume in this, but I like what Tet can do against this offense. And guys, nobody tell Tet's mom about what's going on in this chat. I'm saying Tet. You guys are typing Tet out loud. The Tetoroa hive mind might be coming us at some point, but that's why we do live streams. And that's why you guys are in the chat here to defend me. Chase, good to see you, Chase. Happy to have you. Aaron Jones or Chris Olave. Now, the Olave matchup it's not incredible. This Cardinals team it's got a lot of starters, but not a lot of defenders that I'm sweating about my matchups about. It is in New Orleans. So we've got Olave. He's been not Olave. Aaron Jones has kind of been the guy that a lot of us don't know what to do with, right? He's been the most asked player since in this stream this morning. But I like what Olave can be. I think that, especially for a week one, Kellen Moore's had plenty of time to scheme up for this game in particular. He's going to want layups for his quarterbacks. I just think that, I would love to know if it's full PPR or half PPR as well. If it's full PPR, I don't even think this is a question. If it's half PPR, I could see Jones kind of having that floor opposed to what Olave's ends up being. So I'm going to lean Olave in this one, although I don't think you can go wrong either way. I know that's not what you guys want to hear. Like, oh, go maybe you can't lose here. No, I'm going to give you guys firm answers and then tell you that you're sweet and you drafted a good team and you're probably good looking. All right, Ian Womack, you've got Laporta or Hawkinson full PPR. This is another tricky one, man, because Hawk is going to be like a hinge pick, right? He was pretty much the tight end 5 in almost every draft. You missed out on the big elite guys, but you don't want to punt for, your Kelseys, your Warrens, your Lovelands, all that. Took a swing at Hawk because he's got a rookie quarterback, several years in the system. Addison's out, all those things that you probably feel pretty good about. And I like the matchup as well this week against the Bears, just because I think the Bears defense is going to be good, but new coordinator, new pieces coming in. Kind of don't know what they're going to look like. So let's go with Laporta here. This is once again, week one, Dan Campbell. Lions always come out swinging. They've got, you're looking at a 47.5 over under there versus what do we have on Monday night? 43.5. I just don't know. I think that Monday night game is going to be a slogfest. I think that Justin Jefferson's probably the only player I feel really good about in that matchup altogether. Just not feeling, I've got kind of one of those weird feelings in my stomach. I don't think it's an ulcer. I don't think it's all the drinking. I don't think it's the Momo fluke or anything like that. I think it's just, you just know. All right, Antoine Drakefield. We got full PPR, DK or Ridley. Let's go with DK here because I think they're in very similar situations as far as their role and their importance and their target consolidation in their offenses. But Ridley has that Surtain potential. And DK has that Sauce Gardner potential. In that scenario, I'm leaning for the weaker cornerback there. They do a pretty good job of moving Ridley around on the formation, so I don't think he's going to get blanketed all day. But you're going into Denver, rookie quarterback versus, Aaron Rodgers week one. And look, Aaron Rodgers has fucked over all of us at some point in his career, right? But I still think he can sling the ball. So I'm playing this one. Just based purely on the cornerback matchups there. I don't think they'll be too off in overall scoring, but DK will have that higher ceiling as well. So let's go with that one there. Christian Nova, Fields, Tua, or Flacco? Fuck you. What the hell is going on here? Fields. Sorry. Yeah. I'll pump the brakes there a little bit. It's just my brain wasn't ready I forgot what start sits are like, where you have to sit there and actually go, oh shit. I have to start Fields, Tua, or Flacco. Now I know you guys are looking at Flacco like he's got that cupcake matchup against a soft Bengals defense, but I just don't think he's that guy anymore. I like Jerry Jeudy a little bit. I love David Njoku, but overall, offensive line is kind of in a transitionary period. The run game is, you guys are the run game is in the news for the wrong reasons every year. And the rest of the guys there, I just think are nice pieces. So I don't really trust Flacco's ability to stand in the pocket and deliver the ball like he has in the past. So that moves us on to Tua and Fields. Tua, I think he's a good NFL quarterback. Fantasy-wise, I think he's okay. If you are going to start him, you definitely want to do it in September and October while he's healthy. We know how that goes. But Fields and that what happened? Okay, yeah. Sportsbook's trying to hack in and get me fucked over here. And I ain't going nowhere. So you know what, guys? I'm going to actually do something right now that a lot of analysts don't do. I'm going to change my answer as I was thinking about it. A lot of guys dig in. They get take lock. They don't want to. They came up with a take in June and they don't want to abandon it because the live footage is out there. They don't want to feel like an asshole. I already know I'm an asshole. I don't have to worry about any of that. Let's take Tua in September against one of the worst secondaries in the league with Tyreek Hill, with Jalen Waddle, with Devon Achane, with Malik Washington. I actually like this. I think that maybe 275 yards and 2 touchdowns is in the cards, and that's not a world-beating fantasy stat line. But then you got Justin Fields, and he is going up against the Steelers front seven. And he is going up against Cam Hayward and TJ Watt. So I think that could be, if the passing game isn't going to be there and it's going to be a brutal rushing matchup for him, then maybe I feel a little bit better about going Tua there. Now, Is Tanner Ingstrong, the new offensive coordinator, going to make me fucking, eat my words because he's had all offseason to prepare for this first game to get off to a hot start? Maybe. But you know what? We got healthy Tua, and healthy Tua is usually a pretty good player. So let's lean that one. Trevor R. I got AJ and looking for upside in my other wide receivers. Pick 2, Standard. First of all, shout out Standard. Guys, stop hating on Standard. There's a million ways to get laid, and not all of them are bad. So let's shout out to the Standard people here. I'm always helping out. I love a good missionary. Pick 2, Flowers, Waddle, Leggett, or Tillman. Yeah, you need ceiling, right? So you're going to need Flowers and you're going to need Waddle. I don't think you're going to get ceiling from Leggett or Tillman. I actually think those are going to be floor guys at some point this year, depending on what the quarterback situation shakes out to be in Cleveland. And I mean, I think Leggett is the least talked about first round wide receiver in God knows how long. I mean, at least like Jalen Reagor got talked about because he got clowned on. Like nobody even talks about XL. So you need ceiling. Flowers is going to give it to you. Waddle's going to give it to you. That's definitely where you want to be there. So ride that one. And I want to apologize for the AJ, man. AJ Brown's just absolutely donkey punched so many of us week 1. I've got teams with Dak, Worthy, and AJ Brown in the lineup. And you got to be careful because there's no suicide watch around here. So, all right. Gooner Boy wants to know, is Pacheco cooked? No, I don't think so. I actually thought he was having some fun out there. I thought he looked way better than he did last year as far as ability. They just game plan for that. They erased the run game. The Chargers actually did a pretty good job of that last year as well. Divisional matchup in Brazil. I just don't know how much you can take away from that. They lose Worthy to a shoulder injury, so passing game is pretty much cooked right now. And what they're going to do is they're going to try and rotate around the run game. So give them time. This is a team that's going to figure it out. I don't chalk up anything we saw to panic meter. At some point they'll round into form here, and they're going to have to do it because they're already one game back in the division, and they're not just competing against the Chargers and the Broncos. They're always competing against the Bills, Ravens, all that jazz. So don't worry about Pacheco too much. Drew Porter is I don't know a jacket cross key merit. Bill? Are you talking about Bill? I don't know. What the fuck are these words in front of me? I have no idea. Has 100 scrimmage yards and 1 touchdown. I will eat a football live on Chuck's podcast. Okay, can somebody screenshot this? We already have the bets coming out. We already have the I wills coming out. And I don't forget. I forgive, but I absolutely do not forget. We'll get Drew on the show. 100 scrimmage yards and a touchdown for Bill. Would that not be fantastic? I just wish he didn't have to go up against Abdul Carter and Dexter Lawrence to get that done. But you know what? Sometimes miracles happen, and I need them more than ever, especially considering the gambling I did this weekend. Over under 75.5 commercials. Oh, just when you think you have a good thing, they have to ruin that too, right? I'll take the over on that one just because I want to be there for the train wreck, for the threats. I think Scott Hansen is 1 or 2 more tweets away from blocking me, which, you know what? I deserve it. So I'm not gonna hate on that. Alex, good to see you, Alex. I hope you guys are proud of me repping the brand out here. Alex, if you're just now checking in, for everybody who's checking, I am in the convention center hallway of the Bellagio. Was kicked out of the sportsbook. Like I said at the top of the stream, I'm sitting out here by the pool. I was kicked out not for alcohol and not for swearing and not even for gambling because they wouldn't let me put up my decorations. So I found a nice little spot in the hallway here where the cameras can't really see it too well, and nobody's come up and said anything yet. So appreciate that. Appreciate you guys being here. Happy to have you week 1. We'll keep rocking and rolling here. 8:34. We're doing pretty good. Let's get some more in there. Harvey or Hunter, full PPR redraft, start 10. I love it. Already played AJ Brown and Pickens. So you need the big dog, right? You need the eat. And you got 2 rookies here. So you have to look at this like they just came out and they said that Travis Hunter is going to play 100% of snaps. He's playing a terrible Cardinal secondary as opposed to Harvey, who's going up against a pretty decent front 7 in Tennessee. You've got the running back rotation with Dobbins, and who else knows how they mix in there. I just like Hunter, especially for ceiling wise. I think that if Hunter has 2 touchdowns this week, I'm not going to be surprised. I just like, if this was floor, maybe I'd feel a little bit better because maybe Hunter does struggle with some cornerback plays, an undersized guy. Maybe BTJ does end up dominating the target share. Who knows? There's a lot of different ways that could happen. So if you're looking for pure ceiling, though, I still think Hunter's that guy. So love that one. Love that one for you, especially full PPR. If he catches, 6-7 balls for, 105 yards and 2 touchdowns, you're going to win. I feel like you're probably going to win your week. Rob's coming back with 75 commercials on over under. Yeah, buddy, we're smashing the over on that one. Absolutely smashing it. I'm here doing start sits for you guys. And then after this, I don't even know how much of the games I'm going to see today. I got pools to be at. I've got Cirque du Soleil to see. I've got virtual blackjack to play. I've got arguments to get into with pit bosses. I had a pit boss come up to me Thursday night. Let me know if anyone out there has ever had this happen before. Playing blackjack, play with my wife, having a good time. Dealer's fun, drinks are flowing. I'm not winning, but we're having a good time. Pit boss comes over and looks at me in the eyes. She was probably, I want to say Caribbean. I don't know specifically where, maybe Bohemian. She looks at me and she goes, choke on it. She told me to choke on it. I turned around. I didn't know if she was talking to me or somebody else. Everybody at the table froze. It was really awkward. The pit boss even stopped, or the dealer stopped dealing midstream. When you ever see the dealer stop while they're dishing the cards out? And then she just walked away. And I still don't know what she meant. So if anybody knows what choke on it means while you're playing cards, or if it's some sort of sexual euphemism that I'm not familiar with, I would appreciate that. So that's my start sit for you guys. Should I choke on it? I don't know. Okay. Junison, let's get you back on the screen here. Let's get back to away from the bullshit. Half PPR start, JCM. Who is JCM? I keep saying this name. JCM, Ollie Gordon, or Zach Charbonnet. So you're asking, what the hell do we do with these running back committee rooms, right? You've got Bill, who is the darling of the last month, right? But as Chris Rodriguez was announced as the RB1, is that going to be what actually happens? Ollie Gordon, is there even room for another running back, that is not Raheem Mostert in this offense? Jalen Wright did not look very good last year, and he's banged up. Ollie Gordon, kind of a fall from grace from his college career, but he got drafted to a pretty good run scheme. And then Zach Charbonnet, who's like, are you ever going to fucking do this, Zach? Like, are you as talented as the metrics say that you are? Why did two different offensive schemes decide that Kenneth Walker was going to be the guy when he was fully healthy? Is the third one going to do that as well? I don't know. This one's tricky. You've got a decent matchup for Charbonnet, but I mean, like, if he's going to be a part of this team, right? If you drafted Zach Charbonnet, not just because he's an elite handcuff, because you think he could actually be a David Montgomery type role, something like that. Obviously, that's not a one-to-one, but as far as like involvement in the offense, then it's going to happen week one. Kenneth Walker's coming in a little bit injured, so you're probably investing in him as what he could be, not without Walker being injured. So let's take that swing. I love Bill. Don't get me wrong. I will die on Bill Hill. Big, beautiful Bill. RBILL. But this week, give me Charbonnet. Give me this Clint Kubiak offense. Give me this run game. I think that's going to be a lot of fun here. Penix or Fields? This is a choke on it scenario here for sure. I actually like Penix in this one. I know I've got the Tampa Bay Bucs shirt on here. I'm a Bucs homer all day, but that actually allows me to look at them with pretty clear eyes, I think. And that's not just because I was up until like 3 a.m. playing virtual blackjack last night. That's not the kind of clear eyes I'm talking about. I just think that the Falcons have an opportunity to shred here. Kirk Cousins dominated this secondary last year. And I think that speaks a little bit more to Zach Robinson and this offensive personnel group and how they stack up against how Todd Bowles and his zone heavy blitz, all that. I just think he's going to be ready. I like Fields, like I said, long-term for this season. But this is a brutal matchup against the Steelers, week one matchup against the Steelers. I think they're just going to be ready for him. So let's take what Penix can be and, feel pretty good. I know you guys we're all drafted Justin Fields because of the rushing upside. And I agree with you on that one. I have a ton of Fields this year, but that doesn't mean that he's a set and forget for every lineup. So let's just see what ends up happening. New Jerusalem. I didn't even know you could have that name in 2025. Bill or Brian Robinson Jr.? I don't want 1 second of Brian Robinson Jr. while Christian McCaffrey is healthy for a multitude of reasons. But let's take Bill. Give me a part of this. Stream. Guys, have we made it that the streams are invading? Is that a sign that you've tipped? I've always been looking for ways to like identifiers, markers to make sure that my journey as a fantasy football content destroyer is going in the right direction at the speed that I want it to. And when it's bombarded by NFL game streams, that maybe that feels a part of it. So Brandon Friedrich here. Let's see here. Let me read this one. Take a little sip of water. Oh, God damn, that's good. Okay, trade away Jamar. Okay, we're getting into trades. That's what I'm talking about, guys. Week one trades. Where are where's the panic? Where's the opportunity? You guys have you know that everybody's sweating about their teams. Get out there and get some trades done before the game start. Trade away Jamar and Pacheco for Gibbs and Flowers, full PPR, 2 running back. RBs are currently Brees, Pacheco, Tootin, Sampson. Wideouts are Chase, Lamb, Ibuka, and Downs. No, I'm probably riding Chase and Lamb, especially in full PPR. I love Gibbs. I think he's an incredibly, he's a tier one running back up there with Bijan and Saquon. But I just think that these guys like Chase, these young elite wide receivers, they post 10-year, 1,400-yard career games, and you just don't get that from the running back position. So stick with your guy there. I don't think that Flowers is enough to kind of, wink and do a poor man's impersonation of a wide receiver one. So stick with your guns there. Thanks, brother. Good luck out there. Good luck to all you guys. If you're on the Player Profiler live stream, it means that you're better than almost everybody else in your fantasy football life. It means that you're ahead on analytics, you're ahead on content, you're ahead on rankings, you're ahead on personalities. You're in the right place. So I appreciate that. Your drink of the let's get into this. Your drink of the day for the first Sunday. So it was going to be a Paloma. I'm a big tequila guy. I love grapefruit. I love a good margarita too, don't get me wrong, but in Vegas, they just fuck margaritas up so badly, I think. Make them too sweet, or it's just not the right ratio. So I don't think I'm going to do a Paloma today. I thought about a tequila espresso martini might be the move just because I'm so jazzed. And then I'm drinking tequila sodas all day long. I'm a volume drinker, power drinker, not necessarily for the buzz. So I like to have 10 to 12 drinks over the course of the afternoon, of the early afternoon games. And then, sober up a little bit with a Miller Lite or something like that. Maybe a Kona Big Wave to take the edge off. Shout out Ian Harditz. The Gump Report. Let's get back to it here. Chubb or Mason, full PPR. We haven't gotten to talk about Jordan Mason today, guys. I think that Jordan Mason is auditioning for the starting running back position for the Minnesota Vikings for 2026 and 2027 this year. I think he showed with Kyle Shanahan he's capable of doing it. Workhorse guy who can get to the second level. Top 5 in explosive run rate last year, maybe top 6. Don't come at me for that one. Just a supremely good fit for this KOC rushing attack. And then you got that up against Chubb, right? Who I love. Chubb has done more for me personally, professionally, romantically than almost any running back since I've been watching football. But I hate this offensive line. I do not know what they're going to end up doing against a pretty, the Rams defense is not a great unit, but their front can get after you pretty good. So I think that could be a slugfest as well. The overall implied point total for this game just came down to 43. So it's trending on one of the lower scoring games this week. So let's go with Jordan Mason, who I think is going to be not just a 1B, but could be the 1A. It might be doing it sooner rather than later. They're going to lean on the run with that rookie quarterback, all that jazz. So a real evil gopher. You guys have A-tier names this week. I appreciate that. I always love a good name, a good profile name, a good profile bio, all that stuff. It matters to me. So I want you to know, does anybody care about this shit? I care. Okay, full PPR, Ibuka, Pollard, or Hunter. All right, we got to get some Ibuka in this bad boy. I am lower than consensus on Ibuka all across the board this year. But you'd have to be a dumbass to admit that this matchup against a shitty Falcons secondary in the Dome with Baker, who loves Ibuka. Ibuka looks great. Godwin's out. McMillan's out. I just feel like if there's going to be an Ibuka time, it's going to be while Godwin is out. And then once Godwin comes back, I think it's going to be a fucking nightmare. So let's get some Ibuka in. You probably spent a 6th-round draft pick on him if we're talking redraft, maybe even reached. You don't want to sit him for somebody else. So you want that full PPR floor. I think he's going to catch 7-8 balls this week at minimum. Love that. All right, Michael. Jameson or Waddle, point PPR. Oh, God damn you guys. Let's go with Waddle here. I don't think they're going to be too far off in overall point scoring, but I think Waddle could be the breakout guy for the Dolphins this year. And I know that sounds like, what the fuck are you talking about? This is like a 6-year player. He broke the rookie target record his rookie year, had 1,300 yards 2 years ago. Has had multiple wide receiver 1 seasons. I just mean, like, he's broken back in, right? And I don't think it's for his own fault. But I think that, he's going to be the catalyst for this offense to succeed this year. So let's go with Waddle, who is a better player than Jameson. He has less target competition than Jameson. And it's got a better matchup than Jameson. So let's go with that. Beers and Bauman. Now we're talking. Now the goats are starting to roll in. Ollie or Tank, my goat. Let's go with Tank here. I don't know what Ollie's going to be. I don't know what his rotation is going to be. I know that Tank's floor, I think, is going to end up being higher. I think Tank is going to be the bruiser for this rushing attack. It's going to be between the tackles guy. So if one of these if I had to bet on who's going to emerge in Jacksonville, I don't even know if I want to. I don't even know if that's the bet I want to make. That might be a sucker's bet. But if I had to, you had to put a gun to my dick and you're like, make a pick, asshole. I'm going with Tank there. So Ollie's always going to take a backseat to Achane if Achane's healthy and available. So this week in particular, let's take Tank. Let's take that rushing attack or that rushing matchup for him. Could end up being favorable. Not PPR. Exactly. Yeah, I feel even better about that. I don't know how many balls Tank's going to catch this year, but his damage is going to be on the ground. Ron T with a high T question here. J.K. Dobbins or Jawan Jennings, full PPR. I'm probably going Dobbins here. Full PPR. Jennings may end up having that higher ceiling, especially with the matchup. But he's got target competition. Brock Purdy's overall attempts are probably not going to be that high. Dobbins, I think he could actually have 15 to 17 rushing attempts in this game alone. I don't know how much passing work he's going to get, but that's the thing about this Broncos passing attack is guys who aren't great pass catchers are still going to get the ball because Bo Nix is a dump-off merchant, and I have no problem being a dump-off merchant. I took 3 dumps this morning before I hopped on this live stream. But that is going to take guys like Dobbins who haven't necessarily gotten a lot of work there and give them just that incremental, maybe 5 to 10% bump per game while they're out there. So might actually end up being favorable. Let's go Dobbins on that one. You got another one for me here, Downs or Ridley. I'm going Ridley here, target volume, all that fun jazz. Let that sink in. Ian's got another one, Devontae Adams or Waddle, full PPR. We're going Devontae Adams for floor, Jalen Waddle for ceiling. I think that'll be another fun one. Let's speed some of these up here, guys. You guys you're patient. You're waiting in the chat for me to get to your questions. Your shitty questions. I'm gonna get to them, I promise. All right, so we've got Golden or Travis Hunter full PPR. God damn, that's a really fun one here. Let's go Golden for ceiling, Hunter for floor. I know that I gave Hunter out as a ceiling pick earlier, but this one in particular, I mean, Golden is just, I think Golden is my favorite opportunity to be that Malik Neighbors, to be that Brian Thomas Jr. People forget how good of a quarterback Jordan Love really can be. People forget that this Green Bay offense under LaFleur has had guys break that 100-target ceiling. People look at last year and think that's even close to what they wanted to be. Hell no, that's not the offense they want to be. They were 4th in EPA per pass in 2023, 6th in ADOT. They were bombing it down the field, and they've got a guy that can win. He can separate deep down the field, and he can win at the point of catch. And I think he's already their wide receiver 1. So let's go with Golden there. I think he has that high ceiling potential. Mooney inactive, London to the fucking moon. You're goddamn right he is. London, dark horse bet to finish as the wide receiver 1 this year. Could easily lead the league in targets. He's going to be a fun one. He was a first-round pick that was going in the second round, and that's why we're having fun today. And he's got a cupcake matchup against a Buccaneers secondary that kind of, plays like shit sometimes. All right, let's get a little coffee in here. Guys, almost 1,000 people watched what happened here today. Have you guys ever done anything that 1,000 people watched? Feels weird, man. Feels weird having the eyeballs on. I'm sitting here in Vegas, but I would much rather have your all's eyeballs than some of the fucking clowns that are walking through the lobby right now. And, that's not a knock on, I love clowns. I love people that come through Vegas. Look, those people are like, why is he filming me right now? I love my life. Okay, back to it. Should I lose Tank Bigsby in my lineup, or should I lose? Now, this is a question. Should I lose with an asshole, or should I lose with a dipshit? Should I lose with Tank Bigsby in my lineup, or should I lose with RJ Harvey? I'm losing with RJ Harvey, man. You probably spent a 5th-round pick on him, and you don't want to bench him for a guy you probably took in the 10th or the 11th. Plus, Harvey has that upside that I just don't think Tank's going to get to, while the other two clowns are kind of rotating around that room. So let's go with RJ Harvey and hope that maybe he is that Kamara. Alvin Kamara was a fucking dog week 1. You like dogs. You're a dog guy. All right, random stuff. Chris Rodriguez inactive. Oh, guys. Bill. It's so Bill. Bill to the moon. Big, beautiful Bill. I love it, man. Get Bill. Look at that. You guys are fucking champs in here. Everybody's getting the good news. You guys are, it's like, oh, man. It feels good, man. It feels good. This is like when I found out the Big Bang Theory was getting canceled, man. I live for this shit. It's going to be such a good day. Maybe it will be a Paloma day. I'll catalog my drinks for you guys as we get there. Okay, Donald, you got another one for me. Dobbins or Sampson, full PPR. Sampson's a fun one, man. The Jerome Ford predictions, I think, are fucking insane. I think Jerome Ford showed that he is just not a guy you want as your starting running back, whether you're in fantasy or real life. So I like Sampson. I thought he was a great pick for the Browns. We've got Judkins inactive. I think he has a higher ceiling than Dobbins as well. So the matchup is great for him. I think that, if you're going to take all the factors on how Sampson succeeds, right? Great matchup. His running back mate is not playing this week. Yeah, there you go. That's all I needed for the Sampson breakout. You guys have any more that I can add to that list? It would make me feel a little bit better. But yeah, I like this one. If basically what I'm getting at there, if there's an opportunity to play Sampson, this is it. So let's go with that one. Appreciate it, Bud Michael. I appreciate you guys out there. Full PPR, full POR. Swift or Downs in flex. Let's go with Downs there, especially in full PPR. Maybe if it was half, I'd be a little bit inclined to be convinced that, Swift was going to get 13 carries and, maybe break one of them off for a touchdown. But in full PPR, I think that Downs is going to get potentially hyper targeted by Daniel Jones there. So let's go with that one. Gooner boy, Fields or Lawrence for this week and rest of season. I can only hold one of them. Okay, if we're talking season long, I will go with Fields here. Lawrence will probably outscore him this week. There's a good chance of that. But season long, I think that the schedule for the Jets, the opportunity for them to, really lean into his running talent, that'll probably be the move. So maybe trust the rest of your lineup this year, sacrifice 6 to 8 points, and just know that the drafting you did will pay out in the long run. So here we go. A little tight end talk. Where are the tight end questions this week, guys? Usually that's the most asked question because people don't know what to do with these assets, but I guess you guys did. Jonnu Smith or Sanders? Am I crazy for wanting to roll out Sanders? No, I don't think so. After the top 6, 7 tight ends, a lot of these guys are like, shit, I could see any of them having 50 yards and a touchdown, and I could see them having that this week. You've got Coker on IR. You've got Tet, who's going to, be drawing the focus of the defense. They aren't going to be a very pass-heavy team, which is what's one of the things that usually annoys me the most. But look at this, Matt. Look who you're comparing him to, right? There's not a less pass-heavy team than an Arthur Smith offense. So I don't think you're wrong for rolling out Sanders. I think that, that offense is dying for somebody to step up as their secondary pass catcher after what Ted's going to end up being. Don't know if it's going to be Leggett. They haven't spoken very highly of him. Hunter Renfrow, give me a fucking break. Trust me, I love white slot receivers as much as J.D. Vance does. But this week, I think is an opportunity there. So roll out Sanders. See what ends up happening with this tight end rotation between Smith, the Muth, Darnell Washington, and you'll get a better feel for it. Yao Flores said, with Chris Rodriguez out, full PPR, Harvey or Bill. Man, this is such a funny one, right? It's almost like you almost miss, if Bill failed, you'd be like, oh, well, obviously it was because Chris Rodriguez is in there. But if Bill fails now, it's like, fuck. This might not have been a good draft pick for my season because I don't know how much better the cards are going to align. It is a tough matchup for him. I think this front 7 for the Giants could be one of the best in the league, especially the way they're going to be able to cave interior lines. So, but at the end of the day, it's Bill season, guys. I don't think a lot of other people are going to recommend Bill over RJ fucking Harvey, but you know what? I'm not other people. Let's get some Bill in there. Let's hope that Sean Payton does play that nightmare rotation where he mixes in Dobbins, mixes in McGoffin, all that stuff. And maybe the offense runs through the passing game there because he does have that front 7 for the Titans is pretty brutal as well. So let's just take Bill and let's trust that all those tweets we sent out weren't the dumbest fucking thing we've ever done in our life. All right, Gooner boy, you got another one for me here. I love it. Pick 2, Pearsall, Hunter, Tet, Trevion Henderson in full PPR. Full PPR. Let's take Henderson and let's take Tet. Let's just hope. I think that Henderson's going to be a smash play against the Raiders. I think that Tet's going to be a smash play against the Jags. So I feel good there. Millie Mill says, oh, and I'm starting Pitts too. You're goddamn right, guys. You have to think about this narrative, right? It's not always about analytics. So this is one of the things I'm trying to incorporate big time into my picks this year, okay? So there's nothing funnier than if this was the year that Kyle Pitts broke out. Or re-broke out, whatever terminology you want to use, right? He was going, 4th round, 5th round, 6th round, 7th round these last few years, and it was absolute dog shit. Now he's finally going in around 14, 15, and we all forgot about him. Nobody drafted him, and he ends up having what would be the funniest stat line for Pitts? Could Pitts get to 1,000 yards and have 6 touchdowns if Michael Penix steps in and lights the fucking world on fire? That would be the funniest thing I can think of. And those are usually the things that happen in life where we all sit back collectively and we exhale at the same time. So it's the kind of thing that makes people start smoking cigarettes. Oh, you know what? Before I get to this one, I just want to ask you guys out there. I was thinking about how people love smoking cigarettes after sex, right? It's like you roll over, you just want that exhale, you want that release after you're released. Do people do that with vapes? I don't vape. I only smoke when I'm somewhere like Vegas and I'm inside. So I don't really know the sensation. I have rolled over and, ripped one after sex, but do people rip the vape after they've done the do? I would be very curious to know if anybody has any information on if that's a thing or not. Okay, back to the start sits here. Hunter, Henderson, ETN, Diggs, half PPR. Oh, man, you're getting into the fun stuff because no one's talked about Diggs. I haven't seen Diggs in a single one of these start sits yet. I love Diggs. I think this is a terrific matchup for him, too. I love them to come out strong. So in half PPR, I'm probably taking, oh man, but you've got Henderson and Hunter in there as well. Let me think about this one for a second and come back to it because I think that's probably the most difficult one I've seen so far. So give me 1 second to that one around the old noggin. Not that I'm working with a plethora of brain cells as it is this morning. Hunter or Ridley? Let's take Ridley here. Love that. Like I said, I'm going to hit you guys with target volume, target consolidation all season long. It's going to be a big theme for me because it's an easy one to fall back on. Chris Luther wants to know, pick one, half PPR, Ridley, Judy, Henderson. So nobody knows what to do with Ridley. Nobody knows what to do with Henderson. I know you guys are, what's the concern with Henderson, right? We're concerned that we have 20 years of Josh McDaniels running back usage, and it's usually not great, regardless of the guy's talented or not. But I think I'm just a big early second round running backs have been a slam dunk for years now. I'm leaning into that as well. I think he's a very talented player running behind a very improved offensive line, going up against a shit front seven for the Raiders. And I just feel like that's going to be a move. So I'm telling you what I'm doing. I'm staying away from Judy. I don't know if I want 1 second of this Brown shit show that they have going on here. I like Judy. I like the way he was used last year, the contract, all that stuff. It's indicative of a player that they want to be involved. I just don't know if they have the quarterback play to do it. And so when you compare that against Ridley, who I think will, Henderson, who I think will, I can say no thank you on that one. So let's go with Henderson. I think that's going to be a fun one. Full PPR, I probably would have skewed Ridley, but half PPR, let's take the bad boy here. All right, and you guys don't know either. I don't know if I'm the first person to ask that question on a stream or not, but I do feel pretty good. We got 4 minutes left here, so if you guys have any more trades, start sits, sexual advice, gambling advice, like almost like Catholic confessional stuff you want to get out here, I got 4 more minutes to get it in, and then I have to go make left. So let's go here. Mike wants to know, Gooner Boy was absolutely the man to answer that question. Yeah, Gooner Boy. There we go. Okay, I didn't see that. Perfect. So we have an answer. People do roll over and they hit the vape right after jackhammering, and that's the kind of vibes I'm trying to bring to the start this week, guys. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you. After you hit the slopes with a beer in hand, hell yeah, I could see you ripping it down. Yes, I know for sure. Actually, this morning, so it's 8 a.m. Vegas time. I came down, I went to the casino bathroom because the carbone was hitting me pretty good last night, and there was these 2 Russian guys in the bathroom hanging out, talking Russian. They were probably mid-20s. They were blasted. They'd clearly been up from last night. And they were talking fun Russian too, where you don't know what they're saying, but it's not like, we're invading Ukraine, that kind of Russian. It was more like the fun club gifts you see from people. So I'm in the bathroom, I'm doing what I do. And then I do hear just a nice fresh, which, it's not unusual in Vegas, but you hear the Russian, you hear the sniff, you look at the time, and then you come out and they're just having the biggest smile on their faces. I'm like, oh shit. So that's why I love coming out here. Okay, is putting CMC in your lineup kind of like wondering if you're just hugged old grandpa for the last time? Yeah. Well, yeah, probably. I was trying to think of a better analogy because usually I'm the analogy guy, but I think Mason just jumped in and said hello. And we cremated my grandpa pretty quickly after he passed away. So something might be happening with CMC as well. The problem with CMC last year was, guys, is that he got married before the season started. Anybody who knows me, who follows my content, knows that I always track advantages, right? And here's what we want. You don't want a player who just got married before the season started. You do want a player that just had a baby or got engaged because they have fresh energy. But the work-life balance between playing the game and then getting married usually doesn't end up paying off dividends. So stick away from that one. Stick away from married players this year. Here we go. 10-team half PPR. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of words. Penix, Henry, Chase. Okay, how you feeling about this lineup? Okay, so you want to know how the lineup looks. So Penix, yep, you waited on quarterback. I like that. I like the matchup this week. Henry always, Chase always, Brown always. Is that Chase? Oh, Chase Brown. I see. Okay. K9, yes, big on K9 this year. Love K9. Jalen Warren, I'm lower on than consensus because I do think that this is going to be a rotation. But you know what? A lot of guys smarter than me think he could be the dude there. So Eckler, yes. CD, yes. Higgy, Sutton. Dude, this is a fucking smash show. What are you doing to me? Go out and get your dick sucked. Come on. You don't need to be in the start sit. Go show some ladies this team and watch them turn into a waterfall. Okay. Who to stash? Kendre Miller, Rico Dowdle, or Thornton? I like Rico Dowdle. I want a piece of this rushing offense. I don't know how involved he is going to be with Chuba, Huba, but I do know that if somebody can step in there, this is one of the rushing attacks I want a piece of, just like people talk about like the 49ers rushing attack. I think that this is going to be pretty quickly one of those. And he's come out and he said, watch how stubborn I can be about the run. Now they've got another guy that can do it. And it is great work. I love it. You know what? I'm not leaving you guys. I'll tell her, hey, keep the wheel spinning, baby. Is Usha Vance Johnson Ja'Tarian Sanders in this analogy. Yeah, probably so. Probably so. Phenomenal chat. Absolutely. Yeah, this is great. I'm loving this. I'm really looking forward to it. Now, I do have to tell you guys, we rolled at 8 a.m. Vegas time, which is 11 a.m. East Coast time. For the season, though, I'll actually be doing around that 8 a.m. start. I want to get up early. I know you guys are going to be up pacing too. You guys are going to be – who can sleep on a Saturday night when they have to figure it out? You know, do I want to start Brenton Strange or do I want to start fucking Dawson Knox, because that's the league that I'm in. I'll be up there early, ready to take your burden and turn it into something. These stories in fantasy, I appreciate that. I'll share another one with you guys real quick. 2 nights ago, I went into one of the restrooms here. It was like 10 p.m. Got up from the table, and I went in, and I'm pissing in the stall, and I hear some guy go, "What the fuck?" And I finished up real quick. I look back, and the shoe shine guy, some like 25-year-old frat kid, had like threw up on him while he was getting his shoe shined, which is just like one of the funniest things I could possibly imagine. Like some guy just trying to make a living, and some fucking asshole who's out here just throws up all over you. God damn, they're absolute worst. Be good to those people, man. I hate that. When will Caleb Johnson take the starting role? Well, it's not going to be against this Jets team. I can tell you that. Let's look real quick here at what the Jets, I'll give you a precise, you don't want somebody like, analysts will come in here, they'll be like, oh, like a week 3 matchup, or no, like midway through the season or after the bye. No, I'll give you a precise breakout game right now. Okay. So he's got the Jets, he's got the Seahawks, it's going to be tough. New England's going to be tough. Minnesota's going to be tough. After the bye, Cleveland's going to be tough. Let's say week 7 against the Bengals is when Caleb Johnson will have 25 carries, 125 yards, 2 touchdowns. That feels right. So wheel spinning on him. And let's get out of here right after this. What's your quick take? Cedric Tillman. Take on Cedric Tillman. Nico Collins comp. I like Cedric Tillman. I have a lot of trouble with whoever's going to be the 1B in this passing attack. I think they've made it pretty clear they do want to build around Judy and Njoku. I think Njoku would have been Travis Kelce if the Chiefs drafted him, man. He's an incredible player. He's still in his prime. So I like Tillman. I just don't know if he's going to get to like, who's a low-end wide receiver one on another. I don't think he's going to get to like where Calvin Ridley is right now, where you're like, this is a dude on a passing offense that while it might be shit, he's going to get a lot of volume. I just don't know if it's ever going to be there for him. I don't know how long Kyle Stefanski is going to be the coach of the Browns, but I know he's a smart, talented offensive coordinator. He just doesn't have the quarterback play. And until a team like this has the quarterback play, the third and fourth, the ancillary pass catchers, they're just not going to be guys I'm targeting. In Dynasty, yeah, definitely, because you always bet on talent in Dynasty. But for now, I'm hesitant. So that'll be it for me, guys. Like I said, every Sunday we'll be doing this 8 a.m. Eastern time. I'll be bringing a little bit more to future shows than I did on this one. I'll be bringing segments. I'll be bringing guests. Some of these shows I might even start drinking pretty early. Just a lot of fun. So I want to thank the opportunity and love the questions, love the energy, love the chat, all this stuff. One more time, this is Chuck Bass coming live from the Bellagio Convention Center hallway right by the pool. Have fun out there, have some drinks, enjoy week 1. There's nothing like week 1 because all season long, or all off season, we've had these takes, right? And today we're going to get fucking obliterated by them. So hope you've enjoyed the ride. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you guys out there. Cheers. Oh, we got one more. Fuck, I'm going to leave you hanging. Let's get out of here. Kraft or Loveland? Oh, Colston Loveland's mom followed me on Twitter last week, so I think I'm pot committed to go Colston Loveland. So let's rock that out here and hope that whatever this Bears train wreck they're putting together is Leaf tight end proof. So love you guys. Cheers. Get the fuck